once again. Hello, welcome once again. And I'm sure you've all heard the Jacks are back. Dublin beat Galway today by 14 points to 1-6. I think I remember that at least. Now, instead of all ringing out our hankies because it's the end of Community Week, we're going to have a big hoolie here in the studio. We brought back all the musicians from during the week, and we're going to just have a great time to celebrate the old Dubs victory. And I presume you noticed that I'm up for the Dubs as well. So, the first one we have is a man called Phelan Jnr, and he's on the bagpipes. And we haven't had anyone on the bagpipes all week, so this is something of an achievement. Now, Tommy, can you tell us something about yourself first?
Yeah, I'm 5'7". Well, I started playing pipes when I was in the Scout Pipe Band, and after that I moved from the Scout Pipe Band to Chapel Lizard Pipe Band, but been from up the hill, they wouldn't let me down there too long. So I moved out to a Kildare band, and I was taught by a Ballyfermot man in Kildare, Tommy Moore. He's a well-known musician around the country too, and he taught me all I knew about the pipes, you know?
Yeah, now I believe there's something significant about your first tune. What's the name of it again?
Drops of Brandy.
Drops of Brandy, and I'm sure there'll be loads of drops of brandy going on tonight in all the pubs around Dublin celebrating the Dubs victory. So, how about going ahead there now, Tommy? Tommy, that was very short. Have you got another one for us?
I did, I'd say drops of Brandy.
Another short one, about the same length as that now, and we'll be fine.
I'll play Follow Me Up the Carla now.
Right, Follow Me Up the Carla then from Tommy Phelan Jnr. Got a very enthusiastic audience and all here tonight. That's brilliant, Tommy Phelan. Thanks very much. As I said, we're very, very informal tonight. So you'll excuse it if I might slip up and not think of something to say. But as I said, we're bringing back musicians that were here during the week. And one of the most popular during the week surely was Ted Furey. So we brought him back here. And he'll be back any minute now. But I've got a couple of results still. I'll have to go on with the results, even if you hate hearing the sound. Nevertheless, there's a fancy dress result from Lower Landon Road. And first was David O'Callaghan. Second, Gerard O'Brien. Third, Tracy O'Callaghan. And the best... I don't know what this says at all. The best garden show on the road. First drawn between number 64 and 115, and third was number 162. Now, I believe Ted was telling a few of our backroom folk there that he has a strange instrument for you tonight, and I believe there's a huge big story and everything behind it. So, are you all set up, Ted? My God, what kind of an effort is that at all? Can I hold on to it?
Yes, of course.
Now, what is it?
It's a sexy instrument, as I said. It's a horny fiddle.
A horny fiddle?
Actually, the story behind this is one evening, as you know, I've toured in a couple of countries, and I met Eddie Calvert one evening, and he was imbibing a bit deeply in the bottle, and I couldn't find my case. They were all very taken by what myself and my youngest son were doing, and Eddie Calvert, a wonderful man, came and he said to me, Ted, so I can't find my violin case. He said, come on, put it in that case there where my trumpet is. He said, it'll be all right until morning. He said he will get it in the morning. So I put my violin into his case along with his trumpet. So this was the result in the morning. Anyhow, it's a Stroh violin. It's a directional instrument. It's very quiet. So I'll point it at. Can you hear that?
I really can. What's the tunes you're going to give us tonight, Ted?
Well, I'll play a bit of a jig. It's a thing called The Cook in the Kitchen. And what better place to have her, I ask you?
Not a believer in the women's lib then, no?
Well, yes, I am, of course. If women wants to take off their lib and burn it, whatever it is, they should do it by all means. If I had a lib, I'd take it off too. The Cook in the Kitchen, a jig. The sound of the instrument. I brought it along so as you could see it, and this horn is mobile. You can twist it any way you like for packing, you see. And I just brought it along so as you could hear it. And you see, you say this is your captain speaking. You're flying now at 14,000, so on. But I used to do a lot. However, I'll play you something on the violin now for a change. So I'll leave you in the tender mercies of the commentator there, the caster, for one moment. I change instruments.
No, Ted, you're leaving me in an awful fix. Well.
Not at all. I'll be right in a second.
I suppose it's all saw the match today, whether you were at it or watching it on telly, and it really was brilliant to see good old Dublin winning up. And I'm sure you saw the bit of advertising we have behind us here. Pepper's Army, Pepper rules okay. Dubs today, Dubs to stay. The Dubs are back, and up the Jacks. So,
and why not? And why not indeed?
Well, that close it up.
Different sound, yes?
Yes.
Now this one has a bit of a head on it. This is a she-male fiddle, you see. The other one is a male. But this is a female fiddle. As you see, there's a head on it. And it's nicely done around the rims here. And it's nearly black. And it's a very good violin. I think it was made in about 1780 or 1790 by Steiner, and it's in showroom condition. Now, this is a little tune called The Sligo Maid. I done it the last night I was here too, but I didn't tell you the story of it, because it was called after the first female born in Lissadell House to the Gore Booth. Now, Lissadell House, the first female born, as you know, was Princess Macavich, the girl that was in 1916 led all her great men and took a man's place for the freedom of Ireland. So the Kippin Scanlon, who taught Michael Coleman to play the violin, dedicated this tune to her. He composed this tune and dedicated it to her, and he called her the Sligo Maid, and the tune is called the Sligo Maid. So I'm going to play it and dedicate it to her and to all the great men that has passed before us, and of course to the Dubs. Sligo made.
Oh, thanks a million, Ted. Now, you've been around a lot, and we haven't
Yes.
had a formal musician or a formal comedian on all week. Have you any joke or anything that you could tell us there?
Well, yes. I have lots, but I wonder would they go down here well. But I'll tell you a good one now, a really good one. That I heard two old girls one morning, and I waiting at the bus stop, at my bus stop as I called it, up here at the dispensary. And one says to the other, there were two old girls as old as myself, and one said, "Good morning, Mary Ellen," says she, "isn't it very cold?" "Oh, 'tis indeed, God bless it," said the other one. Says she, "Terrible, God knows, yes." Says she, "I'm going up as far as the dispensary, will you come on up for a few minutes?" "Oh, God, I don't think I will, Mary Ellen," says she, "because I don't feel too well this morning." You see, they only go to the dispensary when they're feeling well. But that was one incident I saw at that bus stop. Another one I saw was a woman, or heard rather. One I saw and heard at the bus stop another morning was that we were waiting for about 20 minutes and everyone was looking at their watches. And some of us was looking at them that hadn't got them at all, and because the next thing happens was, what the hell is keeping the bus? And they were all crying and lamenting, as is our wont to do when they're a little bit late. We never think of the busmen, indeed. But however, this little girl, about 7-year-old, started tugging her mammy's coat, and she was talking to another woman, and she says, "Mammy, Mammy, look, look." And she says, "Will you be quiet? Will you be quiet?" says she. "I'll give you a wallop, I'm telling you now." So she said, "Mammy, Mammy," she said, "look, there's the Hogan bus coming down the road." She said, "If I catch you pointing again, look, I'll break your ear and the man listening to you." Oh, thank you. The bus stop entrance is good. The parish priest, Father Trainer, the canon, was going around visiting the schools here one evening in Ballyfermot, and he was a very nice old gentleman, and he went in and he went to one certain school, and he said to one little girl, "How are you?" "Oh," she said, "I'm nicely, Father Trainer." Said she, "Who are you?" "I'm Mary O'Brien," said she, "from Mise Road in Ballyfermot. Don't you know me?" "Oh, yes," he said. Actually, he didn't know her no more than I did. Says she, "Well, are you being a good girl? Are you doing your duties? You make a communion?" "I did, Father." "Oh," says she, "that's great." And says she, "Holy God has had to get me daddy a new car and me mammy a new baby." "Well," says he, "that's great now, Mary." And he put his hand in his pocket and he gave her 2 bob or something, half a crown, I think was fashionable at the time. So this little fella put up his hand and he says, "Hello, Father, how are you?" "I'm well, who are you?" "I'm Johnny Murphy," says he, "from Mise Road." And see, "Would you like to know," see, "what Holy God's done for me?" Says he got me daddy and me mammy a new house, and says he, a new washing machine, says he, and all. And says he, me mammy put all the clothes into the washing machine, and she pulled the chain, and she never seen the clothes since, Father. I think I'll play us a little stave or a mouthful of a tune. Another little jig. We do play those down the country for the half sets. Many, many times I played them for the half sets. It's a pity that the people in Ballyfermot, I wish to God I had the way of doing it and the means. And first and foremost, I'd put up about 6 handball alleys, and I'd put up an outdoor platform or patch of concrete about this size for the people to do open air dancing. And I'd pay a man or some men to keep those places under surveillance and teach the kids not to, throw stones at them and one thing or another. That fella could trip over them and turn his ankle. But however, that's what they need here, and they need another swimming pool down there if that's possible. I hope to God they do get it because they deserve it. They deserve everything they get here. They're great people, and I wouldn't like to live anywhere else. And if ever I take a notion to die, I wouldn't like to die anywhere else, only here either. So now with the music, a jig.
Thanks a million indeed, Ted. We'd love to have you here all evening, but we have a stack of other musicians
Well,
to get
thank you
through.
very much, and I'd be very pleased to be here all. I'd play here until 12 o'clock in the morning. But again, thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks a million,
And I'll see you
Ted.
later, maybe.
Now, I think our next one is Gerry Doyle. You may remember him. On Monday we had him. Gerry Doyle plays guitar, and I don't think he'll take as long to get set up as Ted did. I'm sure you all enjoyed him though. But until then, now, results of the comedy sports in Markievicz Park. Pram Derby. First, Mrs. Murray. Second, Mrs. Corcoran. The three-legged race. First, Mrs. Gray and Mrs. McGurk. Second, Mrs. Tyrrell and Mrs. Murray. And the wheelbarrow. First, Mrs. Tyrrell. Oh, Mrs. Tyrrell was the barrow, and Mrs. Corcoran was the pusher. In the musical buckets, first was Mrs. Gray, second Mrs. Murray. In the brush throwing, first was Mrs. Moore, second Mrs. Doolan. And in the egg and spoon, first was Mrs. McMahon, and second Mrs. Gray. Now the casualties, unfortunately down there, were 3 busted buckets and 1 broken brush. Now we have Gerry Doyle here for us. So Gerry, what song are you going to sing us today?
I'm just going to sing a song written by John Denver. It's a conservation song. It's about the mountains of Colorado. It's called Rocky Mountain High.
Fair enough.
He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key to every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken, and he doesn't really care. It keeps changing fast, and it don't last for long. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, well, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. The shadows from the starlight, softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. He climbed the steepest mountain. He saw silver clouds below. Saw everything as far as you can see. And they say that he got crazy once, and he tried to touch the sun. And he lost a friend, but kept a memory. Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. Aside has turned inside himself to try to understand the serenity of a clear blue mountain range. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, well, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Talk to God and listen to the casual reply. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Now his life is full of wonder, but his heart still knows some fear of a simple thing he cannot comprehend. They try to tear the mountains down to bring in a couple more people, more scars upon the land. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, well, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Though he'd be Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High, the Colorado Rocky Mountain High.
Very nice. I don't think we let you away with one. Could you play us another one?
I'll do another one. This is written by, you can hold that, John. It's written by David Gates. It's a very short song. It's very sweet. A song called If. If a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't I paint you? The words will never show the you I've come to know. If a face could launch 1,000 ships, then where am I to go? There's no one home but you. You're all that's left me to. And when my love for life is running dry, you'll come and pour yourself on me. If a man could be 2 places at one time, I'd be with you tomorrow and today, beside you all the way. If the world should stop revolving, spinning slowly down to die, I'd spend the end with you. And when the world was through, then one by one the stars would all roll out. Then you and I could simply fly away.
Thank you very much indeed, Gerry Doyle. Brilliant musician, I'm sure you'll all agree. The next one we'll have in will be Mr. Murray. It's very warm down here. I'm sure you've all seen the camera equipment being set up at any of the events during the week, and the lights that they put on are only cruel, I'm not joking. Now, Mr. Murray, can you tell us something about yourself?
I've been playing this since 11-year-old.
11?
Yeah,
Well, that's brilliant.
that's all.
Fair enough, that's all I wanted to say. Well, what's the tune you're going to play in anyway?
Well, Mr. Tommy, what do you call him? The man.
Mr. Tommy Phelan?
Yeah, he asked me to play Mise Eire as a special request. He said if I don't play it, I won't get out of this building.
Right, that's fair enough. Away you go then. Mr. Murray. Thanks a million. That's Mise Eire, of course. Now, have I got anything else? Oh yeah, here's the result for you. Single girls soccer final. Cremona 4, Ballyfermot United 0. Comedy sports in the lawn. The obstacle race. First, Mrs. Cleary. Second, Mrs. Malady. Third, Mrs. Wallace. Musical buckets. First, Mrs. Cullen. Second, Mrs. Malady. Third, Mrs. Heavey. Women's tug of war. Winners, Decies Road. Runners up, Lafania Road. Now our next two musicians are Kevin Kelly and Paul Martin, and I'm sure they'll introduce themselves and also tell you what they're going to play for you. So, hello. Could you tell us which is which now first?
My name is Kevin and this is Paul.
This is Paul now. What are you going to play for us, or sing, or whatever?
We're going to sing and play a song called For No One
For No One.
by the Beatles.
Fair enough.
The day breaks, your mind aches. There will not time to linger on. She no longer needs you. She wakes up, she makes up, she takes her time and doesn't feel she has to hurry. She no longer needs you. And in her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears. Cry for no one. A love that should have lasted years. You want her, you need her, and yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead. Think she needs you. And in her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears. Cry for no one. A love that should have lasted years. You stay home, she goes out. She says that long ago she knew someone, but now he's gone, she doesn't need him. The day breaks, your mind aches. There will be times when all the things she said will fill your head. You won't forget her, and in her eyes you see nothing. No sign of love behind the tears. Cry for no one. A love that should have lasted years.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, now, that about sums up our music for the evening. I hope you've really enjoyed that. That was our celebration for the Dubs' victory. But we still have more on this programme. We're having an interview or two just about now. The first interview that we're going to have is with the women of I don't know which road, which won some cup today, and here they come. So they'll be able to tell you everything about it. Now ladies, if you could first, I think you're the two captains of the opposing teams, all friendly there. Yes, so could you give us your name and what roads?
Well, I'm Mrs. Monaghan off DC Road.
And
I'm Mrs. Brennan off Fanu Road.
yeah, now this cup was won when?
Won by today,
By Decies.
DC's Road.
And could you tell us the score?
2-0.
2-0 is beat. Well, could anyone give us a rundown on the game?
Well, we enjoyed it very much. And we've beaten 3 teams. Loch Conn on Sunday, Blackditch on Friday, and Lafania today. And we enjoyed it very much. And we enjoyed community. And all the best to the losers teams for next year.
Fair enough. Have you anything to say?
Yes, we enjoyed the match very much today, and it was a very clean match. There was no dirty work at all, you know, and they won fair and square.
Yeah, that's fair enough, right?
And I can say the same. No dirt in all games.
Yeah, could you tell us, just to give your team a mention, who was on your team today?
Mary Fitzgerald, Kathleen Hodgins, Maeve Dunn, Monica Dillon, Maeve Cannon, and the rest is out there now.
Oh, well, if you can't remember them, that's fair enough, you know?
Yeah. And Maeve, Margaret Cannon, Terry Goulan, I can't remember them
Oh,
all.
that's fair enough, yeah. It was an 11-a-side, was it?
Yeah, it was a full
Ah,
11.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was 11-a-side, or I
Yes.
wouldn't have asked you, you know. Now, well, have you anything else to say about, did you see many events during Community Week yourselves?
Well, we
No.
both won the tug of war today.
Yeah.
Well, we were runners up in the tug of war as well, as football, you know.
Oh yeah, which was this now?
in the lawn today.
Yeah, and you were both on the same team?
No, DC won it, the tug of war.
We were runners up.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh well, I'm sure you accepted it in the most sporting way. Thank you very much indeed,
Not
ladies.
at all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now we've got Mrs. Jago, and now I know she's from the lower end, but I'm not really sure which road. I think she's got an announcement for us of some sort. Mrs. Jago, welcome indeed.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Well, it's nearly all over now. What a week we've had. Our own television programme and some of our local talent. Now, I would like to say a few words. There's no reason why some of these functions that were held during the week past cannot be held at least once a month. All we need is a little bit of help from our friends. Now, some people have come forward during the week and saying, our road has no committee, we haven't had such a social, or our children haven't had this or something else. Now, a road can't do anything on its own. It needs people. Now, I know committee is a dirty word to some people, but don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking committees. Far from it. There are enough knockers around the present day. But all you need are 3 responsible people on your road. Get together, go around your neighbours, ask them to become members, get a book, get their subscriptions, write it in. At least you've made a start. That's what the BCA is all about, just getting together. Now, they go to someone you know then, in your area, that has a committee. Or go to the centre on Ballyfermot Road, and they'll tell you what to do after that. Now, you probably think, oh, I'm going to get involved in this and I'm going to get involved in that. You don't even need a committee meeting once a week. Once a fortnight, once a month will do. We need a lot of help. Both centres need some help. Now, of all the roads in Ballyfermot, only about 3/4 of them are working. If you even get a few members, it's a start. Then you'll have some funds, even if it's only to give your children a Christmas party or your old folks a small parcel at Christmas. Don't just sit there. Do something. Remember, don't leave it to the person next door. The person next door is probably leaving it to the person next door. So all they need is somebody to come to them, and people are very anxious to join. If you don't succeed, at least you've tried. And I mean, that's something, you know. Some of these functions, it's always the same few people, and I do mean few. And then people come along and say, oh, you know, it's always the one people. It's always the same few people. Don't leave it to those few people. Get up and do something. We need your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Jago. A very worthwhile message there from Mrs. Jago. Community Week ends here, but community spirit should not. And the spirit which has been exemplified in Community Week should go on all year. Now, an organisation that did not get a mention all week has been the Sports Federation. And tonight we've brought someone in from the Sports Federation, Mr. Tommy Phelan, and he's going to give us a bit of a rundown on actual functions of the Sports Federation, etc. Now, Mr. Phelan, if you'd like to take a seat there.
Small man should have a seat. Well, the Ballyfermot Sports Federation is an organisation consisting of about 31 clubs who came together not to try and patch up any differences they had themselves, but to look at the overall picture of sport in Ballyfermot and consider for themselves what does the community need, and to look into the needs of the community and then to rationalise and then to seek for facilities that would not be there, and for the benefit of all the community. We're not concerned with any sectional interest. We're not concerned with any particular club. We're concerned about all the clubs working together to provide facilities for all the people of Ballyfermot.
Yeah, could you tell me what can a sports federation achieve that any other national body, we say, cannot?
Well, the thing about a national body is that national bodies have their own allegiances. Now, a community sports federation, its primary concern is with the community itself and the facilities that are existing in a particular area, we say like Ballyfermot, and to bring all the people around the table, not to work out their differences, but to look at things in a light of what do we need. Now, I'll give you an instance of this. All these clubs, Gaelic and soccer, basketball, volleyball, pigeon clubs, they all came together and they didn't say to themselves, now we need more Gaelic pitches, we need more soccer pitches. They asked the first question, what is the first necessity? And they decided that the first necessity was a running track for our young lads so that they could have proper training facilities for the community games. And some of these clubs have their own personal differences, but in the federation, the only thing they ordin out is what do we need in the overall picture. And in this way, they achieve what a national association can't achieve. Because they're bringing unity, they're learning to know each other, they're getting to know each other, and in this way, we hope eventually there will be, if there is any differences existing in clubs, that a community federation like this would bring them together and working together for the betterment of the particular area in which they live. It would then be up to them to see themselves in a different light.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned that you want, obviously, the sports federation, you want to achieve something, but achievement is hard unless you are a recognised body. Now, are the sports federation a recognised body?
Yes, we are. In the beginning, there was a great difficulty in Ballyfermot, like several clubs like Ballyfermot United, Cherry Orchard, and clubs like these, Bromley, etc., approached the corporation as individual bodies, trying to get sport facilities. And up to this year, no team over 18 was allowed to play in the lawn. Now, when the federation came together, they put forward a plan to Dublin Corporation, and the corporation were delighted that there was one body recognised by the Ballyfermot Community Association, which is the council for Ballyfermot, and this body, federation, being recognised, was the body that would cater for sport in the area. And they did this so successfully that Dublin Corporation now recognise the Ballyfermot Sports Federation as the voice for sport in Ballyfermot. And they've also handed over to us the development of the Gaels up there off the Drumfin Road. And we hope to develop this into a vast complex of sporting facilities for Gaelic, soccer, running track, judo club, and a gymnasium, etc.
Now, could you tell me, like, is the sports federation a closed shop? Like, is there only certain clubs that can apply for membership to the sports federation?
Well, that would be the death of the sports federation if we were ever a closed shop. The only thing that's necessary for any club in Ballyfermot, and I say this, any club, and I say it quite emphatically, is to apply in writing to the secretary. And Palm O'Reilly is on 70 Blackdish Road, and if any club wants to write to her, we want all these clubs in. We're having our AGM in October, and we want all clubs in for this AGM so that all the clubs can work together and see each other in a different light and help each other. We have no axe to grind. We have no axe whatsoever to grind, nor do we interfere with the affairs of any individual club. So I would hope that any club applying to us who have the best interest of Ballyfermot at heart will not only seek membership, but we will do our utmost to see that they have facilities.
As you were saying about interfering with clubs' affairs, I think that you do have roughly 32 clubs in membership, have you?
Yes, we'll go ahead. Yes.
Well, I'd say that would be the main reasons why clubs might stay out of the sports federation, because of the fact that they might think you might meddle in private affairs or private rows that they might have with any other clubs within the sports federation. So could you clarify yourself on that point, you know?
Well, we are debarred by our constitution from interfering in the affairs of any club whatsoever, good, bad or indifferent. If we were asked to mediate in any dispute between clubs, we would mediate. We would not put forward ourselves as mediators because by our constitution we are debarred from doing this. We would only hope that clubs would come together themselves if they have any differences and try to solve it. Now, we could not suggest to any club that we would act as mediators. We have no right to do this, and we certainly wouldn't have it, because I think it would be the death of the federation. All the clubs coming together, 31 clubs, it's not sufficient, because they are pooling all the resources, all the expertise, and some of these people, like Mr. Roach and others, and Matt Berrigan, all these people have years and years of experience of football, and then you have years of experience like Pat Murphy, the judo, and all these people coming together, pooling their resources and their expertise, have proved to the corporation, the FAI, the GAA, and any other body you wish to mention, that we are a responsible body and we're only concerned with the whole of Ireland. What I would like to see now is a ministry for sport. A ministry for sport is absolutely necessary, and then all over Ireland I would like to see community federations, and we would be only too willing to help them and to show them how to set this thing in motion.
Well, once again, any clubs in the area who might want to get in contact, who might want to join, could you just give them the address that they'd have to get in contact with?
Yes, Pam O'Reilly, 70 Blackditch Road, Dublin 10. And I hope to God she won't take my life for this, because she is one of the most overworked people in Ballyfermot today. In fact, she was hopping around the lawn today trying to do some of our functions.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Phelan.
Thank you, Sean.
Of the Sports Federation.
Thank you.
Very worthwhile message, and very significant message. United, the Sports Federation has stood, and if they were divided they would fall and nothing would be achieved at all. So if you could remember that. Now, our next interview, we've got Tony Keating interviewing Bernie McCarthy and Joyce Eastman, and they are members of the Ballyfermot Youth Group. So we'll have an interview from Tony now.
There are many small jobs in the community that need to be done, and these jobs are usually done by a youth group. We've had a youth group in Ballyfermot for a fair long time, but unfortunately this group broke up. We now have news from these two girls that a new youth group has been formed. Now, Bernie, this is Bernie McCarthy, Joyce Eastman. When was the youth group formed, Bernie?
About 2 months ago.
And what kind of people are involved in this youth group, you know?
Well, the ages are from 14 to 20.
You could speak up a bit into the mic.
The ages are about from 14 to 20, and it's mixed boys and girls.
And Joyce, what kind of activities do you get up to? You know?
Darts and have a dance every Monday night in the community centre.
You know, why is there a need for a youth group in Ballyfermot? Have you
Keep the teenagers off the streets.
is there anything else you can really do? You know?
No, just it's better off if all the teenagers went together.
And I believe you help out in the Ballyfermot people.
Yeah.
You know, have you any plans for the future? You just you play games, darts, etc. What do you plan for in the youth group?
We plan to have a chicken and rough again Christmas, and then in the summer we go hostling.
Well, I'm sure these girls are doing a great job, and the community needs them. You know, there are small jobs that must be done, dirty jobs, and these are the people that will do it in future in the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, and I'm sure everybody will agree with what Tony has just said there. Now, our next man to give us, I think, a general address will be Mr. John Sweeney, President of the BCA. So I'll hand you over to Mr. John Sweeney now. It's just coming into caption.
Hello, John.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been a hectic week for you for a start.
Oh, not too bad. I think it's even been a more hectic week for the cameramen and everything, because they seldom get home at all for their dinner or anything, what with going from place to place, you know, so it has been more hectic for them than for me, you know.
Well, may I say, John, you know, to me, on the outside, it's been a great experience looking into the way yourself and the other lads and lassies coordinated the whole thing and really made this thing, but I tell you, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll elaborate what we really can do as a team.
Yeah.
And in fact, this time last week, you know, it was the beginning of Community Week. On last Saturday, we had the privilege of His of the President of Ireland, Mr. Eskin Childers, to open our Community Week. And it was a tremendous start. To some of us, it was a nervous start. But as the week wore on, we found that we had resources that we didn't realise we really had. And it gave quite a deal of us encouragement to keep going. And out of that week, we have discovered quite a few things. Some of the things that some of us knew were there, but it took a Community Week, just like what we had, to really bring it out. And I think, as John said, to finalise the thing, I would not like to finalise. I don't like that word finalisation, finish. I think it is the beginning. It's the beginning of an end. The beginning of understanding, of coming together, of realising our potential. And funny enough, quite a deal of our potential was realised in the way we came together at sports, at entertainment, at street dances, and that sort of thing. But also in going around, I found that there was a searching by quite a number of people for a greater calling, the calling of the real social need of organisation. In this I talk especially about the old people, what we can really do for them, what we can do for the educational field by realising that while many of us succeed, there are many of us who are left behind. And this is the kind of thing some of us would like to really get involved in. And we can't get involved unless we know that every street and every person in Ballyfermot is behind us. And I especially ask those of you who may be sitting at home and probably saying, well, that's the end of that. Try to realise that it's not the end. As I said a moment ago, it is the beginning. And the beginning starts with you. You to whom I'm now talking. It is you that I address my remarks. It is you to just stop and think, because you have a responsibility not only to yourself, but to Ballyfermot, and to all of your family especially. You've seen what we can do in 1 week. Try to realise what we could do with the same kind of enthusiasm over 1 year, and right on into our future. The President spoke of being involved, and he was quite right by basing his message on that particular word, involvement. He mentioned that no man is an island, and this is one thing we are totally against, this island atmosphere of going it alone. We all need each other, and the kind of development that has been taking place in Ballyfermot is the only kind of development that really makes sense where human beings are concerned. There is a lot of people who will probably say, what's the use? So many things happen. You have little uprisings of vandalism, you have buildings being disfigured. But if we didn't have the kind of setup that we have, the community association, the street committees, the area committees, believe me, it could be 10, 20 times worse. The kind of situation that's developing in Ballyfermot is the kind of situation, the kind of civilization that really makes sense. The sense is in the fact that we are trying to understand each other and relate to each other. Now, I could go on all night talking on this, but I'm not here to do that. I would ask you to remember any way you like, in your prayers, in your comments, those who helped make it a success, the unheard of ones. I would like to mention some people to whom Community Week was a total involvement. Without them, we could not have succeeded in the way we did. I refer, of course, to the new innovation of local television. I see a great future for this kind of thing. And I and the council would be grateful for any kind of help, comment, and I hope it would be constructive, so that this kind of communication can be developed. I would like you to realize that we are indebted. And last January, when it was said to me that we could have this kind of service, you know, I took it with a grain of salt. I was beginning to say, am I being sold something? And I refer to conversations I had with the managing director of Phoenix Relays, Mr. Gerry Fitzgerald. In fact, at that particular time, I was more concerned about getting pipe TV, as was all of the council. But he mentioned this particular thing, and I listened, and I said, wait and see to myself. Not only did they come up with the date, they said pipe TV would be in, but they came up with television as we now have. I think it would be unfair of me to just get down and say, you know, this is all. I would like, first of all, to thank our presenter during the week, John Hammond. I think it has been a great experience for all of us, and especially for him. To the interviewers, Alec Kane, Tony Keating, Jerry McCarthy, Danny Gorman and Vivian Purcell. Without them, none of the programmes would really have went out, the little bit of chat shows that went out. There's one person I think I must mention. I don't think she's been in front of the camera, she may have, but not a lot. But without her, nothing would really have ticked over. And I refer, of course, to Mary Farrell. I think Mary Farrell was the general factotum. She was here, there, everywhere. I don't believe she slept or had anything to eat during that particular time, but I would like especially to thank Mary Farrell. Now, in all things, there has to be somebody who knows the way of getting it in and then getting it back out. The Phoenix relay team, again, like Mary Farrell, every time I came into Ballyfermot, I saw their van, be it early morning going out or late at night, they were there. And the people on the cameras who's getting me across to you, and I trust it's going out loud and clear, I would like to say thanks to Ray Gobbin and Tony Hill. They were our cameramen, and last Saturday they started off, I'm almost certain not knowing where it was going to end, but they have arrived at this Sunday night, and thanks be to God, everything has went out very well. There was a little fellow who does all the twisting and turning of knobs and makes sure everybody's going out loud and clear and you know, telling us to hurry up as he's doing to me now in a roundabout kind of way. Nigel D. Rolfe. He really, you know, is one of these fellows who not only it's work to him, it's his life. And I would really like to thank Nigel for what he has done. I referred, of course, earlier to Gerry Fitzgerald. All I can say now is Gerry Fitzgerald came up with the goods, and he has told me that it will take a little while, very short while, in which to really bring about a television service on a permanent basis, because they have worked in tremendously primitive conditions, recording, sending out, all done in the one place. So we've got to really coordinate ourselves and make ourselves a really good thing. I would like, on your behalf, to thank them, because they are now part and parcel of Ballyfermot, and I want them to stay part and parcel of Ballyfermot. Quite a deal of publicity has went to other places, and I'm not going to go into that, but I sincerely thank them. It is not the end of Community Week, it is the beginning. I thank everybody who has helped us, all those who didn't come out and help us, and all I can say, we hope to see everybody, not next year, but tomorrow, weighing in. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm after getting a cue note. I'm inclined to forget the most important ones. I suppose this is part and parcel of familiarity breeds contempt. But I think Mr. David Connolly, our manager, and Mr. Liam Shannon must be thanked, and Murray, our secretary, and all the other ones who worked in administration to make this thing go over. They will be around tomorrow to take all the new applications that I hope will be flowing in. In fact, as I said, this is not the end, it is the beginning. Good night, everybody. God bless you. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. John Sweeney, President. My God, what's this? They're full of surprises in this studio, really they are. Here they come. And who's this? lads, that was a great surprise.
Shohanish Aron Avin.